Pro Football Weekly is previewing the offseason for all 32 teams. Right now we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons. And Dan, a disappointing end to the Falcons season. Again, a loss in the playoffs. No wins in the postseason for Mike Smith and Matt Ryan. Big things were expected from this team. And now you look at that defense, some big-name free agents, Curtis Lofton, Brent Grimes, John Abraham, all free agents this year. What do you expect the strategy to be?
It's a tough situation for their general manager, Thomas Dimitroff. I'm sure he'd love to keep all these guys, but when you look at the salary cap being back in play, I just don't know if you're going to be able to do it. Curtis Lofton, I think, becomes the first priority. There's nobody ready to step in and replace him. He's one of the best in the league at what he does. I have a pretty good, I think there's a pretty good chance he'll be back. Brent Grimes, if he gets to the open market, I think he might get blown away by an offer and maybe prices himself out of Atlanta's range. If they use the franchise tag on him, I'd be surprised, but that is an option for them. And John Abraham, maybe they can keep him at a low price. Maybe he hits the open market, and because of his age, the wear and tear, doesn't get blown away by any offer. Maybe he comes back at a reasonable price.
Yeah, not maybe a situational pass rusher now, not an every down end for them. One addition to the defense we already know about is defensive coordinator Mike Nolan. He's had success basically everywhere he's gone as a defensive coordinator in the league. Is he enough to get that defense up to a level of a championship level defense that really the offense may already be close to?
Well, I'm not ready to go out on a limb and say that quite yet, not knowing what players are going to be on that defense for Mike Nolan. But I do think that was an upgrade. Brian Van Gorder had done some nice things for that defense, landed at Auburn. But I think Nolan, with his track record, experience, expertise he has on that side of the ball, really going to help them. And you had to play, pretty solid defense. If you're going to go up against the Saints and the Panthers, two of the most explosive offenses in the league now, I think Nolan helps the Falcons out quite a bit.
We've seen what a new defensive coordinator can do. Wade Phillips came in this year to Houston when their defense was terrible, quickly got it turned around. We'll see if Nolan can do the same thing in Atlanta. Also a new coordinator on the offensive side of the ball with Mike Mularkey taking off and going to Jacksonville. We have Dirk Koetter coming in as the offensive coordinator for the Falcons now. What can he do for that passing game?
Well, I know a lot of people in Atlanta weren't too excited about this hire because of his history in Jacksonville. That offense really struggled. He had Maurice Jones-Drew there, but aside from that, kind of a lot of hot garbage. Now he's got some fresh produce. Matt Ryan, Roddy White. You got Julio Jones going into his second season. He's going to do more with the screen game. That's something they've already talked about. You're going to see Jaquiz Rodgers, second year back, I think, more involved. And Michael Turner's still going to be a big part of the offense. But I do think Dirk Koetter, while maybe not everyone was excited about him, I do think he was a nice addition to this staff and is a guy who's going to help that passing game soar to new heights.
Yeah, hard to judge him on the Jacksonville situation like you talked about, not the talent there. Back in his Arizona State days, really explosive offense. We'll see if he can bring some of that to the Atlanta Falcons. That's an offseason preview for the Falcons. For the best coverage of the league, check us out at ProFootballWeekly.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about the NFL Draft, and Pro Football Weekly's new draft database has you covered. Check out updated player rankings for over 750 prospects and our exclusive PFW Stock Watch. Just go to the Draft tab at ProFootballWeekly.com.